We're headed to get the kids from school. There is a question that we have gotten a few times that we think is a pretty good question. Can you work full-time and do foster care?
And the answer is, you can.
We both have full-time jobs, and we fostered, and now have adopted 5 kids out of the foster system. So it is possible. It's tough, but it's possible. And we wanted to share with you 6 tips and tricks that helped us while we were fostering and working full-time. It's really important to get your employer on board and supportive of what you've chosen to do. That'll make everything else go smoother, and it also takes a lot of stress off of you if you have stuff come up like doctor's appointments and sick kids.
Keep an open line of communication.
Absolutely, absolutely. Both of us have a very supportive workplace, and so our coworkers and our employers were very supportive of what we were wanting to do, and they helped out in every way that they could. Just giving them a heads up was just really beneficial, though.
Yep.
When you talk to your employer, it would be really helpful to find out if you have paid time off, what you can use that for. I was allowed to use my paid time off for our foster children, which was super helpful. I know that not everybody can do that, but you don't know if you don't ask. So it's definitely worth finding out, then you can be prepared. Save your time off, to be prepared to use a lot of your time off, your paid time off, if you have such. Especially the first month that you have a foster child, you're gonna take a lot of time off. In the state of Missouri, we are required to take a foster kid for a medical examination within the first 24 hours. So every kid's going to be different, but you can definitely plan on a medical visit for sure. It's a good idea to get them in to see a dentist. You will need to enroll them in school and have meetings maybe with school professionals. You will need to catch them up on immunizations. You will have caseworker visits. The caseworker will visit you, but they can sometimes do it after hours. And you potentially have we had to take kids to psychological exams. We had to take them to child advocacy center, team meetings, court. So with court, you're not always required to be there, but we felt like it was a good idea to be there if we could. So we made every effort to be at court.
We tried to make sure that we made all the court dates to be a support for the family and for the child, be an advocate for them. It gave us another opportunity to talk to GAL, to the child's caseworkers, and just everybody that's involved in it, and just to build that relationship with them.
The third tip kind of goes along with tip number 2, and it's to utilize your caseworkers, but don't take advantage of them. When we got our first placement, we realized pretty quickly that they were going to need we were going to be required to take a lot of time off. So we chose to take on the medical appointments. We took them to all the doctor's visits, the dental surgeries, eye visits, and then we actually asked the caseworker to take care of the parent visits. Parent visits happened about an hour away, so it was just not possible for us to take off weekly to take them to their parent visits. The caseworker was willing to come and pick them up from school and take them to those visits and then bring them back to school. So you can definitely utilize the caseworker. You just need to sit down and talk with them and work something out, but they are available to do that.
And they also have resources to help with transportation too.
That's correct, yep. But don't take advantage of them, please. I think it's important to just think of yourself as on the same team.
Yeah.
So you're working towards the same goal, you're on the same team, and you work together to get it done. Okay, so the next tip that we have for you is when you get your placement and you get to know the kids, you'll see several things right away that need to get done for them. And it might be just immunizations, but it might be something much bigger like potty training, or we had 2 children that were nonverbal, and so getting them identified in the school system so they could get help was important. It's really important to make a list so that you can get as much done as possible when you have these children. Because sometimes these placements, you think they're long term and they're really, really quite short term. So we had a couple of kids, our very first placement were ages 3 and 4, nonverbal, non-toilet trained, and they had a lot of neglect that we needed to take care of. We knew that they were going to be a short-term placement, so we knew that we didn't have a lot of time to get them on the right track to be healthier in the future. So I sat down and made a list, and my list included dental surgery, glasses for one of them, desperately needed glasses, getting them identified in the school system if they have special needs is very important, because once they're identified in the school system, it follows them and they can't just drop off the face of the earth, which is so important with foster kids, especially young ones. But we sat down and we made a list. We didn't get through our list, but it was okay because we had the list in priority order. We got the most important things done first.
And Crystal went to town on it. She took a lot of time off of work during the first couple weeks just to get caught up on some of those appointments that they had missed previously.
Yeah, it was totally worth it though.
So as we dove into fostering, Crystal and I realized that we needed to establish roles, and what our defined roles was. It took us a little bit of time to figure out. So Crystal took care of most of the doctor's appointments, and then I would take care of the orthodontist or dentist appointments.
You did the court. You did all the court and the family support team meetings, which was super helpful.
So when the kids would get sick, we would just try to figure out whose schedule worked best with, and try to not take too many days off from one employer to the other employer.
Yeah, I also took care of all the school stuff. So enrolling the kids in school, because I work for the school district, I kind of had a lot more knowledge about the way things work, and it was much easier for me to navigate special ed and evaluations and enrollments and all of that fun stuff.
Crystal took care of dealing with the caseworkers and working with their schedules on when they were going to come to the house or when we had to meet at certain places. But she took care of most of that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So something that will help tremendously and save you a lot of time down the road would be to establish a relationship with a doctor, a dentist, and especially a daycare ahead of time. So you'll need to find a doctor and a dentist that accept Medicaid, because all foster children are automatically assigned to Medicaid, and your daycare will need to be licensed with the state. If there are any more specific requirements, the state can tell you that. So the reason I was able to get so much done for that first placement was because I established a relationship with their doctor, with their dentist, with the daycare and the school. I do want to say that it will get better. The first month is definitely the hardest, and the first placement is the hardest. Once you get your first placement and that first month under your belt, everything will go much smoother. You will have that relationship with your employer and with the medical and other professionals that you need, and there won't be near as many appointments. So hang in there. It's a sacrifice, but it's a worthy sacrifice. Okay, so yes, you can be a foster parent while working full-time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We love to hear from you, and we love answering your questions as best we can. I'll put our information in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you again next week.